It's fucking amazing. So what they used to have, they used to
They're not
anyway, they used to have a opportunity, if you will, where you could pay $75 for your own jar of moonshine. And every time you visited, they would pour from your jar of moonshine. And I'm just, for just $75.
And that's your like come back heavy moonshine.
Yeah. It's wow. Just everything's wow.
That sounds nice.
But now
No longer have it.
No, they don't. They don't have it anymore. But now you can like, I forgot what it is. I think for $20 or something, you can take the bottle home. So I mean, yeah, it's cool. You can take it home. But I was like, damn.
But like, it used to be nice to have your own, you know.
You know, being one
like,
of those.
Serve me my bottle, please.
Yes,
you know?
cheers.
Here.
Hello. I've come for my thing.
I am jaw like Cheerio for this.
He said jaw like Cheerio. I'm upset with you. Why would you do that?
Because I'm from Jersey. I could do shit like that.
I know it's gonna work. It's true. Oh man.
Is everything rolling? Are we good right now?
There you go.
What company is the company on the back of that computer?
No,
I don't want
I don't
none of
think
these
so.
niggas to win.
No, it's not.
Unless it was made in Wakanda, none of these motherfuckers.
HP.
Oh, it says HP.
But
it's not my job. Well, wait, it's not.
Yeah, it's HP. We're giving them advertisement. You got
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, not fucking
Guys.
niggas.
It doesn't matter.
No, you don't get to work anymore. I told you that. Once this
Yeah, I
shit
know.
starts,
You
that's
said
it.
fucking.
Yeah. With a big.
I know what that means.
Alright.
Jeez, heard you. All right.
All right, there you go. Cheerio, guys. Cheerio. Everyone has the cider. Cheerio. Salute. Air cheers. All right.
Air cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Got just this motherfucking homemade cider in the building today, man. With that rum, motherfucking. We out here, bad bitches united.
That's really
Ooh,
good.
squad.
That's really nice.
I try, man. Just know I ate some of my
I'm
French
just very
today.
excited
No,
to
no,
watch.
that was a nice temperature.
No, you know, I try to make sure you guys got
Very
that good
exciting.
shit.
I feel like.
Shit, I'm ready for fall.
I feel like we're in.
I
Hollywood.
am. You know, I'm a big nigga. I enjoy the summer, but like, you know, the fall's where I flourish, the fall and the winter. So you know how that goes. You know, my titties need some break time. So, but free at last. But we out here with the tall boys food today. So we got the wings, we got the lemon pepper, the Old Bay, the Memphis dry rub right there. We got the Cubano, and we got the Reuben with the French sauce. You know, as a Jersey's finest, I am here with it, guys.
Have to have the Reuben there. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
So on today's show we have
Jose Lopez Sanchez.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a lawyer by training. I work at a creative agency, and I also am a staff writer for Brightest and Things, DC's own Brightest and Things, where I cover music, art, and culture in DC. So
I'll go ahead and take a bite. I just get to talk and I have food. You know.
yeah. Originally from the Dominican Republic, but been in DC for 6.5 years. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay. What brought you to DC?
A job. These wings.
As those wings just hit you in the face.
A job and these wings. No, I moved here originally escaping the Chicago winter and a ended relationship, a broken relationship. I got an opportunity to move back to the East Coast. I moved to the States. I'm from the Dominican Republic. I moved to the States for college. Went to law school down in Atlanta.
What law school?
I went to Emory Law School.
Okay. Oh, Emory.
Yeah.
Wow, I passed that one
Georgia.
time when I went out there for a booty call. It's a long time ago. It's like 2012.
Atlanta's a great city.
Well, on a lighter note, I applied. So.
Okay.
Well, you're wildin'.
What you mean? Just going down there to go down there? It's Atlanta. I mean, it was like 2012, different time in my life. 2012, 2011.
Atlanta's a lot of fun, man. It's a great city.
It is. The sushi there is amazing. I feel people don't
All
talk
kinds
about
of food,
that
man. Everything in Atlanta is great.
I didn't taste everything. I tasted the sushi, the people, and the carnival. It was a great time.
Yeah. Then I moved here for a job. Moved here for an opportunity. That was a few jobs ago, but I stayed. I came to DC originally planning on staying a year, and it's been 6.5, and I feel at home here. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk to them about anything that we talked about earlier? You know, you guys doing tours, writing these documents, brunch cake and stuff. You know, a little chitty chat you guys had earlier. Jesus tour.
Why yes, actually, hit some things that we don't.
Just drop in gems, man. That's
You
what you
don't
do in your
mind.
personal life. No, go ahead, yo.
If you don't mind, I'd like to pull up my notes. If you all can have a second together.
No problem.
You
No
know,
problem.
if you can
So,
just
what
take
wings are
this
you
one.
eating right now?
I think this is lemon pepper.
No, I think that's the Memphis.
Oh, it's the
dry rub.
Memphis.
Yeah, got
That's
the
pretty
Memphis
good.
dry rub. You know, seeing that we had the Ross playing in the background, I'm eating the lemon pepper first. You know.
But you know, we didn't get Wingstop because that's his business.
No, I get it, but lemon pepper is his brand, so
Yeah.
you know, I'm out here. I stripped the bones off with one hand. I don't know if you guys caught that. I was real slipping. Now I'm dipping it in the blue cheese. You know what I mean? We out here.
It's hard.
You gonna make eye contact. Go home. Go home. Home.
I am home. This is my house.
Get your friend. Get your man over here. All right. So the question is, there was a moment in my studies of college where I was conflicted about what I wanted to, study. So, how did you decide upon choosing entertainment?
I was working in music in college. I was working at Red Light Management. I was an intern there in Charlottesville, Virginia. I went to University of Virginia for undergrad. And I was working in music, and that was my dream job. Like, I remember being a kid and just like loving listening to music, thinking about music. And to me, it always seemed like a pipe dream. Like, nobody in the Dominican Republic is like, I'm gonna grow up and like work in music, right? I mean, now it's changed. We have Aventura and Romeo Santos. We have some international cachet. Reggaeton, Looney Tunes, who produced back originally in Puerto Rico, are of Dominican descent. So things evolved when I was growing up, but I had the opportunity when I was in college to work for Red Light Management. Red Light Management, their first artist is none other than the white god himself, Dave Matthews, the lord to all bros, Chads, Kyles, and Beckys. So, anyways, I got to work as an intern there for a year. Worked there as an intern for a year, my senior year in college, and the fall of my senior year was the financial crisis.
Okay.
Everything went to hell, and I had taken the LSAT. My parents are pretty traditional in the sense they're like, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a priest. And the priest thing wasn't for me early on, but basically I was like, oh shit, like I'll just apply to law school. There are no jobs. And basically when I got into law school and I was working at the music company still, and I talked to this guy who's Alan Mintz has passed away in the last few years, but he was a great mentor to me. And Alan Mintz at the time had gone to law school and come back and been Joni Mitchell and Herbie Hancock's manager, right? He had gone to law school and then he moved to music and worked in this stuff. And he was basically like, listen, we're not hiring anybody, we're not paying anybody, but you should go to law school. It'll open doors for you. You never know how things are gonna work out. And so I went to Emory, got down there, and Atlanta, it happened to be a perfect time because not only had the original wave of Atlanta music with Outkast and Dungeon Family and CeeLo Green and that crew come through, it was the beginning of Gucci Mane's rise to the top. Like that trap music was really coming around. Migos were just getting started.
What year was this?
2009 to 2012.
Okay.
And it was a great time. It was a great time. And on top of that, the state of Georgia had given a tax break for film and television. So all of these TV shows, The Walking Dead was the first major critically acclaimed one to come down there, but there was all these opportunities. And so when I got there, started law school, and I was like, oh, I think I want to focus on intellectual property law, which is the basis of all entertainment law.
Right.
So your copyright, your trademark, your patents if you have a technology. But I started doing that. And got an opportunity to intern at Georgia Lawyers for the Arts. Most people don't know this, but most states, including the District of Columbia, have a volunteer Lawyers for the Arts Association. In Georgia, specifically, they did a lot of work with artists that made under $30,000 a year, and they connected them to attorneys that would do pro bono legal services. So whether it was you got your first record deal but you haven't been paid yet, you want to like have someone review that represent you, whether it was you're a choreographer who wants to copyright their steps, right? Getting protection for your intellectual property, your art. And that gave me a wonderful perspective. I had these mentors, several people, Lisa Moore, Liz Wheeler, and Jonathan Leonard. Lisa Moore has her own law firm. Liz Wheeler now works for an entertainment company, but Jonathan Leonard at the time was on the board of GLA, and he was T.I.'s business lawyer. So it was a cool thing to get to see people that were putting together their interest in art and entertainment law together into careers that were also giving back to people who were getting started. I ended up doing an internship at Cartoon Network. All these opportunities sort of came around, but I realized that to be an entertainment lawyer, the traditional path is to go work for a big law firm, usually in New York or Los Angeles. I took the New York bar. I'm barred there, but didn't end up getting an opportunity at a big law firm. So I was like, well, how can I forge my own path? How can I end up doing what I want to do, get involved the ways I want to get involved, even though the traditional doors haven't opened. And so I took a job after law school working at a staffing company doing sales, but I started writing about music on the side. I started interviewing small bands that were going to come play when I lived in Chicago, and I started reviewing shows. And so I think I mentioned this to you in the pre-interview, but when I moved to DC, I went to see Kanye play the Yeezus tour at Capital One, then Verizon Center, with Kendrick opening. And I had just heard Good Kid, Mad City. That was a record that got me through that horribly cold winter in Chicago. Lonely, hard, but Good Kid, Mad City was a record that did for me. And then Yeezus dropped in, was it July of 2013 or 14? Yeah. Well,
it was 14.
That album came out in 14, but I saw him in 2013, so he was still playing some older shit. And I went to the show with some friends of friends who ended up... Went to the show with some friends who were music editors at Brightest Young Things, as I mentioned, the site I write for now.
So you still had those relationships?
Well, I didn't know these people yet. I met them, and they just saw me like freaking the fuck out during Kendrick's set and then Kanye's set, and they were like, "Yo, you like rap?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really." And so we got talking, and they had at the time a weekly hip hop column where they would review 3 new hip hop songs. It was a committee, email done, right? Like 7 people, all hip hop fans, rap fans, and you just be like, "All right, what'd you think of the song?" And someone would respond with like some really authentic and sincere, some with hot takes, some people just talking shit. Like we did that for about 3 years, and it was really great. And after participating the first week, they asked me back for another week and another week and another week, and eventually just all these things just got married. Like they came together. I figured out ways to work in a professional day-to-day job that pays the bills but still touches on creative entertainment industry, while my side job has helped me find that. Even when I was like literally doing a job that I fucking hated, I was still writing and doing it on the side because I was building the portfolio, meeting people, and just trying to make myself a more marketable hire for a career that I wanted to be in. I was saying to you, it takes a long time, and sometimes you're just like, why the fuck am I up at 1:30 in the morning writing a review that's due tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. when I also have to be at work, and I'm getting paid like,
it's crazy.
If I'm getting paid at all, I'm getting paid pennies on the word, but you know, it pays out. You just gotta keep doing it. So that's a very long-winded answer.
You look exposed. You okay?
You see, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm on the phone when this happens, so I gotta just ask if you're okay.
She knows exactly what I'm talking about.
You good? You alright? You need a moment? Don't laugh. The camera's on. They know who you are. It's right there. He's actually moving it for a better angle now.
I'm so sorry.
That was a deep cut, bro. That was a very deep cut.
Oh, man.
You said that, and I just saw her eyes getting wider. I was gonna be like, "Oh, we got over here too."
No, but that's it. Like you gotta see the big picture. And I remember just thinking like, why the fuck? Nobody reads this shit. Like 5 motherfuckers are gonna read this shit. Nobody cares. I was like, nobody. No, and you feel that way. But you were saying yourself, you just had a story that had a couple thousand views, like in 2 weeks. That's amazing. My stories get like 37.
Oh,
I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying it takes a while, and it's hard. And then one day, someone reaches out to you and they're like, "Yo, my artist wants you to interview them because they read your story and they thought you were either funny or insightful."
Or like when phony people like your stuff on Twitter.
When phony people, they're a great band, man. That's why I like the
They
Moon.
know who you are, and they're just waiting for you to write the right article. But, in the meantime, since we're here, how do you feel, how have you created opportunities for yourself from all these experiences?
Shit, man. At first, I used to be really shy about reaching out to folks. I used to, stuff will come through. Now, I don't give a fuck. I will, send I'll find the email address, you can Google and figure out the pattern. And you just shoot your shot. Earlier this year, I'd done some writing, and I kid you not, the Vermont Board of Tourism had read some of my work, and they had a new festival called Waking Windows, and they were just like,
Wow.
they're like, hey there, sport. I don't know how white people in Vermont, right? Like,
Everything breaks down.
Right.
Is that how the email was written?
No, they were cool. They were super cool.
Alright.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Because if he called you sport, it's gonna be like,
no, they were cool. But they were like, hey, we have this new festival. It's called Waking Windows. It's been around for like 7 or 8 years. We're trying to get more people to come.
Yeah.
We would love to fly you up to Vermont, give you a ticket, get you a +1. We'll put you up at the hotel. And they took care of everything. And at first, I was like, is this like gonna be like Get Out? But it was super cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
It
I
wasn't
ended up
bad.
having a great time. The
Yeah.
festival was beautifully curated. It was all in an area probably like the size of Malcolm X Park. Because
Okay,
it's in the little
okay.
town of Winooski, which is across the river from Burlington.
Yeah.
But it was beautifully, really well put together. But you know,
size-wise, that's intimate for us, but for them, that's big for them.
for
Because
the little
where they
town,
were.
yeah. But I mean, you know, like these are the people who brought you fish, right? So they've had big white people gatherings too.
Yeah,
right?
they're used to it.
Like, yeah.
Some brown in there.
Yeah,
sprinkled.
I was hoping to see Bernie Sanders in the wild. I did not see a wild Bernie. I was a little disappointed.
Okay. And this article, when they flew you out, it was from what you did in the DMV in terms of.
Well,
this
they had
work.
read my work here, and I've started being better about tweeting my stuff and using hashtags appropriately, and you know, just being smart about how you try to like connect people. But I think they had read an interview that I had done with one of the bands that headlined the festival, so that's how they knew about my shit. And so, you know, now beyond that, I'm even more proactive. I'm like, I reached out to this festival in Mexico City last year.
Yeah.
The festival was in November. I reached out to them in September. I was like, yo, I saw your festival. I saw it's the 15th anniversary. I would love to go. Like, can you guys like cover my ticket with a photographer?
Oh.
And they were just like, word, yeah, come through. Like, write a review, like, do the thing. So sometimes, like, you have to have the body of work to back it up, but you got to shoot your shot.
Okay, so real quick though, did you see like Dream State in Bogota? Did you see that?
No, I haven't heard of this. What is it?
Holy fuck balls. So first and foremost,
There you go.
Dream State is EDM type music,
Okay.
electronic dance music, and apparently they will be in Bogota.
Oh.
And first and foremost, look at my face. VIP tickets are $62. Say it one more time.
Go
One more
ahead.
time.
Say it.
One
Say
more
it.
time.
Move the hair. Move the hair out the way. Tell them. Tell them.
VIP tickets
Uh-huh.
are 62 American dollars. I'm just saying. So
That seems like a
you know.
worthwhile
Let me
investment.
put that hair back.
Thank you, thank you.
Put that.
So,
that hair back.
my
There you
guy.
go. Got you. The
So
hair
you gonna
back.
go?
That's a yes or no.
I'd love to.
I'm just saying, what I think you should do is email them and be like, hey, I'm a writer. I would love to cover this shit.
Good right.
And save those $62 for like extra leg room or whatever. I
Do
don't
that
know.
work.
Yeah.
Like,
I would love that.
got it. Just shoot an
Got you a
email.
nice glass of rosé.
Tweet at him.
Yeah.
He said get you this stuff.
Yeah. Tag him in
That's a
your
lot of glasses of rosé.
Hell yeah.
Hey, get you a bottle. Sit up there, be comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe some Molly. But that's not what this is about.
Not
So,
about it. Not about it.
um,
That was a good slide. Did you hear that? Did you?
no, he got it. No, he got it.
That was
So
good.
one of the contracts that you reviewed earlier in your work in Atlanta that had to do with the Hispanic countries.
Yeah. I worked at Cartoon Network Latin America. In the
Tell
legal
us about that
department.
contract and like
Yeah.
the causes, well, the byproduct of the contract.
Yeah, I mean, I was working as an intern in Cartoon Network's Latin American legal department, and so it was really cool having grown up being a fan of animation to get to actually review the contract for like merchandise, to literally create like toys of, I don't know, fucking like Goku, like Dragon.
Wow.
I was like, this is so wild that you're dealing with a licensee in Latin America, a factory in China, and then you're like, and this is how it's gonna ship, and this is the price per unit, and this is like lunch boxes, toys, like a wrist slap bracelet,
Yeah, and
like,
then an intern would have access to this.
and then an intern we could have access to it, and it was cool because I worked under the general counsel for the Latin American department, Astrid Sayas. She was a wonderful mentor as well from Venezuela originally, so that was super cool.
really
But to have that, you know, to sit there and see like the whole like end to end of the whole thing, that was like.
What were your advantages of being bilingual?
Well, I wouldn't have gotten that internship if I hadn't been
Okay.
bilingual. I think that, and also like I was very persistent. I like emailed her a bunch of times before that.
How many emails? Give us a number.
Well, there were 300 applicants from Georgia State, UGA, Emory, and John Marshall Law School. There were 300 applicants, and there was only one position.
Okay.
And I got it. And so I had heard from someone that internship was really cool. And I had met this person, and she and I became friends, and she was like, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, my grades aren't that good. Like, my grades aren't great. She's like, no, don't worry about it. So she emailed this woman, introduced us. She didn't respond. I followed up maybe like 3 times over, I want to say like 6 weeks. Like every 2 weeks I check in.
Yeah.
And finally she did, and then I was like, can I come for coffee? Like, I'm in the neighborhood. I wasn't in the neighborhood. I was just like, took Marta down there.
Yeah,
I was like,
be in that neighborhood.
like I'll be there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just putting yourself in the mix.
Live for the job.
Yeah, I mean, it's the number of times like in the past a meeting works out because you're just like, oh, I'm gonna be in New York like this day. When you like get on that Chinatown bus, like
or
you gotta.
up for
That's how I did Fashion Week.
That's like exactly. Tell me more about that. How did you do Fashion Week?
Go ahead. Drop the bars about Fashion Week. Tell us what you did. Tell us about the loops, the days, the calls. No, it's cool. The camera's there.
All right, so I have email anxiety, but
What's
the one
anxiety? You want to explain this for everyone?
Sure. My email anxiety consists of I don't really do well with checking my emails regularly because I taught high school for 2 years. You wouldn't like emails either when you taught high school for 2 years. So email anxiety, it's real. It's not. It's when little ding. I'm not a dinger. Don't ding me. But anyway, so I got a ding, and I was invited to Zara Larson's listening party in New York.
Yeah.
And I went, but guess what happened? I was late.
Yeah.
And apparently at Fashion Week, nothing is more than 15 minutes long. Literally nothing is more than 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that because I'm green or whatever. And
Well, you were green.
I was green.
Yeah.
Now that I know these things. And I reached out to Richardina Grunge Cake and I was like, hey, kind of near by myself. Can I hang out with you? And she was like, yeah, I'm wrapping up with Calvin Klein. And I have some clients with me. I got you. And I'm like,
Just so fluent.
what?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's like, hey, I put you in contact with my friend Cooper. He's at Shakers and something in New York off Broadway or some mess like that. And yeah, I pulled up to the hotel and Cooper was there. I walked in the elevator with other cool people and thank God I look cool for Fashion Week because God only knows if I
What were you
didn't.
wearing? What was your reason?
Yeah.
I actually was wearing
the whole thing.
I was wearing a New York brand name disclosure. The jacket was a faux leather black jacket, very Grease 1980s. I did cutoff shorts and I had some very fun faux leather thigh high strappy stiletto boots from Privilege. Yeah.
On the nice legs. Yeah, mid-thigh and up on
Thank
the
you.
nice legs. Yeah.
Mind you, I this was September 11th in New York for Fashion Week, and I mysteriously.
It's a sandwich.
Thank you.
It's your
Thank you.
sandwich. You keep telling your story.
I mysteriously ended up at Calvin Klein's after party, courtesy of Richard Jane. Thank you so much for being so kind to me with my lost ass. And shout out Cooper. And yeah, I was Calvin Klein's fucking after party with models who were rejected by Victoria's Secret.
Big facts. Okay, big facts. That's all the time there. No, that's real.
That's how that happened. Mind you, I took a 6 a.m. bus
Right.
to get there, and
Because you did what's necessary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I hung out in the city for a while. Naturally had hotel trouble. Of course, you have to have hotel trouble because it wouldn't be a great story without it.
Also didn't sleep the night before.
Did not sleep the night before. And
Yeah.
we were at Fashion Week and I got to hang out with India Moore, who is a doll in a gym, and it was dope.
Yeah, but you know how it is. It's not like I'm in town, you know? Like sometimes you gotta take, and not everybody can take the time out. Not everybody can do it, but if you can make a little bit of time to put yourself in the room or in the mix, just fucking shoot a shot. You never know. And maybe someday people will respond to you. Like the first interview I ever did when I was living in Chicago, I tweeted at Kid Koala, the producer and turntablist. I saw he was playing in Chicago that night. I was lonely, I was sad. It was like December, so it was like cold as shit. And I tweeted at him, I was like, hey man, like, I like your new record. Heard you're playing tonight, would love to do an interview. He tweeted it back at me, DM'd me. He was like, reach out to my manager. The tour manager was like, hey man, come through. So I went to the venue, sat with him. At the time he was doing the show that involved throwing paper airplanes into the audience at the end. So he was like, hey, do you mind, as we're interviewing, he's like, do you mind helping me fold 400 paper airplanes? And I was like, you know?
That's a moment.
Yeah, and I actually got to interview him last year, and I told him, I was like, you know, I didn't say this at the time because I was like pretending to know what the hell I was doing, but you were my first ever interview, and to get someone of that caliber, you gave me a lot of credibility. And, you know, I was like, I appreciate you taking a chance, right? So what I would advise to people is just like, put the work up and just like, put your name out there. Don't be an asshole, but just like reach out and be like, hey, I'd appreciate 15 minutes of your time. Everybody can spare 15 minutes.
You guys are having beautiful moments.
Everybody can spare 15 minutes.
Okay.
I feel so much better about Made in America now.
Made in America. Wait, we're going to Made in America. What's going on? Why do you feel better about Made in America? You just Made in America. Wow, that's crazy.
Man.
I want to go to Made in America.
Oh, jeez, Rick. Oh, jeez.
What's up?
Jeez, Rick.
What's up, Coop?
Oh, no. Okay, well.
Camera's that way.
Hey. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Hello, it's me. So.
Yeah.
Grunge Cake has invited me to come to Made in America, and I have the opportunity to interview a few cool kids.
Yeah.
Are you excited
behind the lines? Well,
yeah. Who are you excited about? Coop, the creator. No, keep going. The camera's that way.
Get your friend. There's gonna be so many amazing people. If my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure Tierra Whack is gonna be there.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say her name. I literally thought of that.
And I also think Rico Nasty is pulling up, and
She was just asking on Twitter, what does everybody want from her? And I feel she's trying to grow a fan base. I mean, she's good now, but you know, artists that are curious, I respect that.
I just want to like meet Rico, and I just want to be wearing my silver wig so we can be like, oh my god, like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah,
I want to do that.
Just have tea.
I just want to.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
You'll be her favorite person. Nah, because like all that screaming she does, I feel like teaching you, oh, you get it. Real talk.
Tell her what's Poppington.
I'm surprised her voice has held up for so long. She's done like a great job with that. Because those live performances are very real.
No question. No question. I wonder where her regimen is. Because you gotta like, you know,
like work and training.
Yeah, like I'm gonna smack a bitch today. You know, so you gotta be ready for that.
Yeah.
You
The
can't just,
levels
like,
to it, like each one is different.
You know, like,
her build is real. She will smack a bitch today.
Yeah.
Like these lemon.
There's like quite a few.
Wings. Yeah, my bad. Keep going.
But yeah, so my job would just be gathering content, possibly recording interviews, interviewing people, recording performances, covering the different stages, and just bringing back the tea.
What would you consider a successful Made in America for you? Like, what would make you feel good when you come back on Monday? You'd be like, that was great. What does that like on a big picture look like for you?
Man, if I could get like a big wow, you know the Oscar photos that they were able to catch when it was like Ellen and like 50 million people behind her. If I could catch one of those, holy shit balls!
You got a selfie stick?
I don't, but I have long ass arms. You've heard. But I can definitely get one from Five Below too. So,
Nice.
but that's ideal to take. Actually, I probably should make a list of things, and I probably need like a nice little hipster fanny pack.
Yeah.
So I can.
Yeah.
That's what the kids do. You know?
I mean, it's a good thing you have a camera crew with you. You could ask them like a bunch of questions about like what things you should take with you.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna have a crew with you? People taking?
Well, yeah. There's a
person?
team coming from Grunge Cake. Like they have a few photographers, or I think there's at least one. I know there's at least one person
Are they
on our
allowing you
team.
to choose your photographer that you want with you?
No, not really. I'm literally just getting thrown into the field. Like it's literally gonna be me.
Yeah.
And with the wristband back wherever they want to put me, whether under a tent or backstage, and it's gonna be just, hey, can I interview you real quick? Hey, please, hey. Yeah, you know that thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you ever you know who Nardwuar is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're seeing his interview with Cardi B at Coachella 2 years ago, like 2018.
No, I have not.
It is like two aliens from different planets talking to each other, and it is the wildest shit. Like truly, his interviews are he's He's a little annoying, but he's great because he finds out some real obscure shit.
He's good with capturing them all.
And he's really good with like this like, oh my god, you know, King Cruel, your mom was like a singer, she had a demo, and I got her demo. Like, shit like that. But him interviewing Cardi B, like Cardi B's first Coachella, is just like, I recommend everybody go home and watch the shit because it's wild. It's like, oh, like, and he's like making all these, like, these motherfuckers are just not communicating right, but it's a wonderful train wreck.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love it. Yeah. I love Cardi so much. I don't like him that much, but he's a good interview. This is like a nice, like, oh.
Nice weird.
It's
yeah.
It's a nice weird.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, this is messy. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that word.
I recommend it.
Messy.
Yeah.
I love
that
it.
word messy. Okay, that makes me like it's a messy question. Okay, now that's my messy. Yeah, that's. I mean, I dabble, tag the artist.
Right.
But so what mess have you bumped into from being a part of this industry? Because like as an entertainment lawyer, I wouldn't say that you have rivals, but there are people you know of in this industry when it comes to the way you guys move, speak, and the business that you do.
Well, I'll clarify. I'll clarify. I'm now a lawyer who works in entertainment.
Okay.
I'm not an entertainment lawyer anymore.
Okay. So what's the switch over then?
I think that the legal profession is good and noble, or was. There's a lot of very intelligent people, but there's also a lot of petty people who just want to do stuff to fuck with each other. That being said, entertainment is all of that. Like, there's rivalries, there's beefs. It's funny to me that there's like probably more drama between like management teams than there is between like artists.
Yeah,
like, truly.
And it's supposed to be about the artists.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
Can you get that again? Is there a way we can get that in the sound?
Just let him repeat it really great.
No, I will say, for the most part in DC, things have been great. You do hear, I think the Me Too movement has been really important in shining light on some behavior that is unsavory that happens in entertainment.
Yeah.
I think we think back to, the Harvey Weinstein being blown up is like an example. Obviously, the Bill Cosby thing, we knew about it for years and years. It was kept under wraps. But even on a local level, you hear about stuff. I'm not going to speak about it because I don't have any firsthand experience, and that would be slanderous or libelous. But you do hear about some stuff that happens that makes you sad and makes you a little scared. And hopefully, the fact that we're talking about these things even happening and that people are aware of it will mean that people's behaviors towards each other improves. But that's the thing, it's a small town, so everybody knows each other, everybody works with each other to some degree. Like, you might have 3 to 5 degrees of separation, but at some point everybody's worked with somebody who knows everybody else. So and that's even from the perspective of like working in entertainment, like working as a music journalist. Like, when you know of someone who's like a little shady or a little shitty, I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that with that person. Like, I'm sorry, I'd rather not. So that's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
Hopefully things get better. Hopefully things continue getting better. But like every once in a while you hear some unsavory shit and it's really sad.
Yeah.
I don't know what your experience has been like. I mean, as a woman, as a black woman, like, I don't know.
Man, wow. Well, hey.
You're like,
What?
It's so funny because as we see on social media, they're always trying to compare the girls.
Right.
And I'm not gonna hold you. I've been kind of blessed to be one of the few girls in my lane as a quote unquote creative and event curator and brand ambassador and everything else, writer and all this other stuff. So it's been very cool to be in my own lane of being able to do your social media management and be your artist developer and also book your photo shoot. So but at the same time, when you are that person who has a lot of connections and there are people who start to inquire about how you got there, and instead of literally because I keep a resume, so you ever want to pop off but no one ever wants to check the resume. It's like, well, who do you know? Who have you been with?
Right.
And it's just like, I don't have a problem letting people know who I've dated in the industry, but that doesn't mean that person has necessarily helped with my business or what I have. Like, I don't know.
You see, that's a question that I've never been asked, right? Nobody's ever been like, who are you fucking to get here, right? I'm like, nobody's ever asked me that.
Right.
But which it's inherent sex.
Yeah. It's It's so strange. Or it's like if you are sitting in a studio session and they're like, oh, you know this sample? And you're just like,
The long pause.
yes. I do. Oh, you know music? And then you start thinking about how your mom had you in church choir and how you played in the band in school. And like you just start thinking, well, I did play piano when I was like 5. And then it's always brought down to like super small, minuscule things. Or it's like if you do a whole lot, it's like, oh, well, you don't need help, you got it. And it's like, I mean, I do, but damn, like, you can't really chill out. It always has to be an extreme. It's either, who do you know or how did you get here? Or it's just like, oh, well, you're Superwoman, you can figure it out on your own. It's like, wow, so no one's gonna be my friend here. No support.
That's why you scream, "Be my friend" at the top of your lungs per episode.
Yeah.
When I be wilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
Yeah, that's a thing that we do. We're friends.
Friends. And it's always interesting, but it's cool though, because I feel like the underground part of it is what makes it cool. Because a lot of people don't know what to expect when they hear my name. You don't know what you're getting when you're a coupe. It could be a 2-door Lamborghini. Who knows what the fuck's gonna pull up? But then it's like, oh shit, it's a girl. And it's like, yeah, with this unisex ass name, because it's Coop, and you don't know if it's Cooper or what. And it's, even though it is Cooper, if anybody's wondering. But yeah, like, yes. I like the ambiguity. I'm having really lots of fun with that, of course. But at the same time, you're gonna get met with bullshit. And either you're gonna have the balls to do it or you fucking not. So that's just how I've been able to. I don't know, and I'm smart, so fuck out of here.
There you go, high five on these niggas. Hey, all right, cool. Now that we on women, tell me about the young lady from New York, Albany.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm not gonna talk about that. No.
But you.
Yeah, she was great. We were friends. We dated for a while.
Oh no! I was talking about the one that you worked with. Like you were the accountant, and she was.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Whoa! I gave myself up.
No, not at all. It's like, we're on camera. I wasn't gonna do that.
I was like, no.
No.
We had a talk.
We did. I forgot about that. They're both from Albany.
Yeah.
Both from. This is actually was 2 different people. But
okay.
I was like, yo.
Because you said that. I was like, I didn't mention that, man. We had a talk.
I was like, whoa. I told you about that on the interview. Damn, man.
Yeah, no. I'm all for respect if I just did it like that.
I was like,
damn, Juice.
I was like, I told you that in confidence at the Velvet Lounge. What you talking about? I had a great coworker, also from Albany. Her name is Annie Weinberg. She's phenomenal. Just like one of the goofiest, most fun, talented people I've ever worked with. Okay. She was very dependable. We got each other's sense of humor too. So even in stressful situations, we were always able to bring the other person back to being calm and
balance.
And she's just a goofy motherfucker. She's funny as shit, man. So she and I worked together. We used to work for a design thinking company for a little bit. We worked together for like a year and a half.
What did you guys do exactly? Or what
It
does
depended on
design thinking company do?
We were helping different organizations solve complicated problems. For example, we were working with a major store where people buy furniture that comes in a box and you assemble yourself. We were helping them.
It starts with NDA. It starts with
Know what your NDA says. Know what you can do with that NDA. This is real black rap.
That was so smooth.
We live our rap.
It come in a box.
We helped them redesign their customer loyalty program. That was super cool.
Okay.
We did some work with an organization in Maine that helps islanded communities share knowledge and resources and just be more efficient with their grants they get and their energy, literally wind energy connect. It was really cool shit. We helped an apparel company like again redesign a customer loyalty program.
Yeah.
And then we did a sustainable seafood project in Japan. We did some wild shit. I got to like go
Sustainable
places.
seafood project in Japan.
Yeah.
You have
Did
to
you
go
fly
in
out?
detail.
Yeah, I spent 3 weeks in Tokyo
Okay.
just eating fish.
This is what I went to college for.
Do you hear this? He's talking
It was
about
tight.
fish.
I was just like,
We were supposed to have seafood here
it
today.
would have tied in nicely. But this is the chicken of the sea.
I mean, we're good,
of
man.
the-
Is
of
it
the land.
Is it the chip? I'll take it. No, I'll take it. All right. So from doing business with all of these different cultures and all these different entities, what have you learned about the corporate side of things, especially like tying that into the DMV structure?
Man,
What's going on here now?
No. I think the number one thing is just like ask questions and listen.
Okay.
Like that's it. It doesn't matter where you go. People, like if you ask people and you just like shut the fuck up and you just like let them talk, they'll tell you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Like you gotta ask sometimes more questions than other places, but people are people. Like it just connects, and that's the thing that I thought was super awesome and wild. Like I never been to Asia before when I went to Tokyo for the first time. I went twice for like a 10 and a 12-day trip for work for the same project, like 3 months apart, and to get to like go there and just I had luckily another coworker who was Japanese American, so she was a huge help and like. What can I do? What can I not do? How do I eat? What do I do to like not be an asshole?
I went to college for this shit.
But you know, what did you study? What did you do in college?
International relations and Spanish.
Oh, say what you just. No, say it to him in Spanish. Just get kind of crazy with it.
Relaciones internacionales y español.
Oh!
Just body
High
that
five, yo!
Yeah.
I love fucking with you.
Well, she like just went.
Now she does.
Like,
Now she does. I tell people, you push her in the corner, it's not a good place to put her.
Enseñé español para 3 años.
See,
So
sorry.
years? Okay, that's
Estás
tight.
hablando español?
Yeah, you guys can speak that
She was
Spanish.
just
I'm speaking
doing this
English.
by
That's
la
all you
mos.
guys. Yeah, I can understand you guys though.
No, but I mean, yeah, just to like put a pin in that, like it doesn't matter if you're on, you know, like working with like lobster fishermen in Maine, or like with the people from the store, the box of the shit that you put together.
Right.
Like people just want you to ask and listen, and like that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people don't understand in this country, particularly like dealing with minorities. Like most of the time they're just like, well, black men, like white people, whatever. They're like, well, actually, like no, just fucking ask the questions, sit down and listen. And that's it. It goes down to that. Like there's stuff that I don't know from your experience, stuff you guys don't know that I can relate. Like it's important to just like sometimes not try to fill the space with like just fucking listen.
Yeah.
And your time to talk will come. Like eventually people will just be like, oh, okay, what do you think?
Right.
So it was cool. It was a great experience, and to be able to do that was phenomenal. That was like life-changing, amazing opportunity. So.
Okay. Zoom in.
Listen.
Zoom in on her whisper. Here you go. Don't point with your knuckle.
Wait, hold on. Not gonna play.
For Bill Clinton. Point with your knuckle.
Escucha.
Nah. The amount of Spanish hashtags I'm gonna have to use on these drops, yo. She's been dying to do like an interview where she has to speak in Spanish.
Well, you got it. You gotta hit up Bad Bunny.
Oh wow.
I mean,
yeah.
you can make that happen.
I don't. Well, I would love
I
to.
just, we may be able to make that happen.
He's elusive, man. He's done like 2 interviews in 3 years. He's hard to.
She could get the room with him. I'll be chilling.
You could probably do that.
Yeah. Thanks for believing in me, guys.
Yeah.
Hey there. Belief is important. All right, anyway.
Is that your white dad voice?
It is. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question now. So I'm very excited about knowing that you worked with Cartoon Network and you worked in the Latin American division. So did you have like a favorite show
Growing up,
That you got to
from
touch
coming from the Latin American region?
that I got to like, yeah.
Yeah. That might be different than, you know,
Yeah.
our Ed and Eddie's or our Rick
We're
and
seeing
Morty.
it evolve.
No, Rick and Morty is new though. I mean, I'm talking
Yeah.
about like,
Yeah.
we used to have this channel, and we had Telesistema, which is like one of the Dominican like terrestrial channels, like our ABC, NBC equivalent. And they used to play starting at 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock. There was like the cartoon block, and they would play, you know, half-hour shows back to back. And the first one they played was Ranma and a Half. You guys ever heard of that anime, that manga originally? Ranma and a Half, Ranma y Medio in Spanish.
Describe it to me.
Ranma and a Half is an anime about this boy in Japan who is training to be, I guess he's learning a Japanese martial art and he's like practicing. He's got a sensei, and they go to China and they go to these wells, and he falls into a cursed well.
I know that one.
And whenever cold water is poured on him, he becomes a woman.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then he's cursed to become a woman, which is like the most misogynistic Japanese shit. Like you're doomed to be a woman forever.
It's literally the culture.
Yeah, but it was cool. Yeah. And then immediately followed by that was Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac.
Oh, that one is a hit.
So tight.
Did you see that documentary, Enter the Anime? That's on Netflix right now. Just came out last week. It's a great documentary.
Yo, Saint Seiya was wild. And then you had Dragon Ball Z after that. And then after that you had the Power Rangers.
That was like one of the best
all this shit.
like cartoons
was like
ever.
2 hours.
DBZ,
Yeah.
just like screaming for like 20 minutes. I was like, nah, keep yelling.
Crazy
keep
shit.
it coming. Keep yelling, yo. Oh, you went on? I'll take that too. Blue Eyes, sure. We'll take it. We'll take the messages.
So it was like 2
Boys are
hours.
weird.
It was like 2 hours of solid animation, right? And then after, I guess it was Ranma, Saint Seiya, Dragon Ball Z, Power Rangers.
And those are all hits.
And then after the Power Rangers, I would often watch this with my grandma. Shout out to Bandai Namco. Right after the Power Rangers, they would play the shows. My grandma's favorite show. It was called El Renegado with Lorenzo Lamas, and he had a motorcycle and a black leather vest with no sleeves on. And my grandma was just like, "Oh, that Lorenzo Lamas." And we were just like watching shit, and he's like, and after that, it was Baywatch.
Oh,
so you got your whole spectrum of like teenage masculinity projections.
Wow.
Like straight up from cartoons that they're killing each other to like a dude on a motorcycle with a long like greasy ponytail to like boobies on the beach. It was it was formative years.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Long greasy ponytail.
Yeah. But no, it was cool. I mean, like that was my first introduction to like animation. I mean, Cartoon Network also had stuff. I guess at the time there was like Johnny Quest.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
That was wild ass cartoon. Johnny Bravo. I remember seeing the first episode of Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Dexter's Lab.
That was really pushing it.
cool.
Dexter's Lab was,
Actually, I have a question. Is it Powerpuff or Powder Puff? I don't.
Powerpuff.
Power, no powder.
Powerpuff, not power.
Because people spell them both ways on the internet.
Powerpuff
Memes.
Yeah.
I thought it was power.
The memes are the jokes.
Yeah.
So that's just like taking it further.
And I was like, I don't know.
For the viewers, because I don't know this either, define what you said terrestrial station is?
Yeah, it's a station you could see on regular like local television if you had like just rabbit ears, if you didn't have any cable. So in the United States, there are ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
And you can access them. They have local local affiliates. So like you'll see the same television shows, maybe arranged in a different order depending on where you live. So like we have Jeopardy at 7 o'clock at night here on the East Coast, but in California they play at like 1 p.m. Which is not the same. It's not contiguous. They play earlier in the day. They play it during like senior citizen lunch hour.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they plan it around the age groups.
Yeah, because they're just like marketing the targeted ads around it.
Oh.
Okay.
That would have goddamn.
Look into that.
Okay, and that's all the technique.
That's just like to sell, you like, I don't know, a catheter or a mattress.
Yeah, they know to play
They
those.
know.
Those
Yeah, it's
commercials
like
at
who's
that
watching
time.
Jeopardy.
You guys are there.
Wheel
Bingo.
of Fortune,
I'll take that
all that
too.
stuff.
You gotta
It
take
just-
my
What does
credit
it say
card.
about the East Coast? Does that mean we're old? Are we?
No,
it's just marketing.
It's marketing.
Yeah,
We
it's all
prefer.
marketing.
We're not East Coasters aren't. I guess home during the day. I don't know. Like
We're
we just
not.
like
We're
we
not.
watch shit. We come home from work.
But for the
Families?
West Coast, the weather is different.
The weather's
so
different.
Their habits are different.
So I don't know. I guess that's what it is. I'm assuming it's probably that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's wild. When I found that out very recently, blew my mind. I thought
'Cause
Jeopardy.
my family, we watched Jeopardy as a family.
At 7
we
o'clock.
sat down like after Fox 5 News at 5. Then it was Judge Judy, Jeopardy.
Shout
Boom.
out to Judy.
Good
Yeah,
Judy.
I bet she got fat ass.
Shout out to Alex Trebek though, man.
That's that.
Alex is doing so well.
Yeah, is he doing better? He's doing
Yeah,
better.
he seems to be doing alright. I was worried about
I've been paying
himself.
attention. He's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay strong, Trebek. Stay
Look
strong.
at the camera. Point at him. He'll see you. There you go. Give him a heart.
Yeah.
Heart
We heart you, Alex.
you.
I actually, for my 30th birthday, a couple years ago, I had tried out for Jeopardy a few months prior. Did not make it on. But my little sister gave me a Jeopardy hat as a gift. I still have it. I wear it around. Gets a lot of comments in DC.
How big is your family?
I'm the oldest of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a brother and a
said
sister.
Before, so now this is like interesting. You have a sister and a brother.
Yeah,
That's,
brother
that's
and
awesome. You got to be the leader.
Something like
they
that.
They get away with more stuff than you did growing up.
I think I get away with more stuff than they do.
It's reverse.
Yeah, no, they're like good. They're like straight shooters. They're good, wholesome people.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm just like,
yeah.
have you seen that? Have y'all seen that meme? Which is like mosquitoes in the summer when my ankles are out. I love it. I've been using it for a lot of things in a professional setting too, and they're like, "That's not appropriate." I'm like, "Whatever." I love a good meme.
It's funny.
See, you could tell your position that you worked up to that you could say whatever, and everybody's like, I mean, he has a point.
Yeah, I mean, there's within the context of professional, but I try, NDAs.
They're like, he works for us. We're not gonna know what this is. Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as when my office was like, my coworkers, my office, my job.
Yeah, all of them.
They were singing Tatiana at work, and I wanted to call HR so bad.
That would have been really funny if you had.
I really, and because I'm the youngest in my office.
What clarification do they need to do that job?
A degree.
Like a G what?
A degree.
Okay.
Oh, it's a.
No.
Starts at
That was supposed to be a joke. You don't, guys.
Yeah, right. Okay, Ava would have been like, don't do it.
This is real personal.
Don't say it. I got you, Ava. We keep it.
Alright. Video game companies. Tell us about how important of a role the DMV culture has right now to what's being produced by certain game companies.
I mean, there are a couple of companies that have a presence here in the DMV.
Yeah.
I work with a couple of them. I won't specifically identify who, but
Me too.
Epic Games had an office in Baltimore. I think that's been shut down, but Bethesda Games is around here.
Yeah.
I believe there's a couple smaller independent developers too, but I just think it's great that we had such a strong computer and developer culture early on that's remained, that continues to exist here. So
how important are these individual developers?
They're big ones. I mean, if you think about, Epic now is in Cary, North Carolina, but they created Fortnite, and everybody and their mom, everyone and their mom complains about it, but the kids.
I am a complainer. I will be mom.
You were a teacher, right?
I'm a complainer. North Carolina, no, that just threw me all the way off. All the way off. But you know what? I'm not gonna play surprise because North Carolina is up and coming for technology right now.
The Research Triangle.
Yeah, they're trying to do a little Silicon Valley thing there. I don't know how big it's gonna
have
pop.
been coming up here lately too, especially on the entertainment scene. So Velvet coming through, do performances. In the last 3 years, I've seen more artists come up to perform in DC from North Carolina than before in any period that I've worked down there for like almost 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I will also say it's an affordable place to live as a state.
Amen.
And they also do really fucked up shit that makes the people who live there want to leave. Like, the trans bathroom bill, the voting stuff.
The voting,
trying to keep black people from voting, gerrymandering. Like, North Carolina is a beautiful state with fucking crazy shit.
And then they have places where you can bring your pet and eat fucking barbecue.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, man.
Is that a good thing for you or a bad thing for you? How do you feel about it?
Amazing.
You were going back into the positive. We just went into this negative.
I know, but you know how to come with a little bit of positive.
Right.
A little bit.
I was
like the trans bathroom bill. You're like, my dog can't brisket.
Dogs. Alright, puppies. They chewing on things, man. It's crazy.
They give them water. It's so great.
They do have a lot of breweries too. They have a lot of beer.
do.
A lot of beer.
Yeah.
They do. Oh man, North Carolina's not that bad. It's kind of cool. It's just a little wild.
And Petey Pablo been telling us about it forever.
Yeah. Wait.
This one's for you.
Petey Pablo is
This one's for who?
He's not the one who said Danger just fell off the stage and everybody was like,
Let's go.
Okay, no, because I saw that joke.
Wait, who was it that fell?
No, it was Mystical, and like someone was like Danger, and I was like, I get that.
Nah. You know the Mystical joke that matters?
Yeah, which one? No, just say it.
No.
I mean, it's gonna be like weeks later when this comes out.
The Mystical joke that matters is if you see me and a bear, ask the bear if he's okay, bruh. Let me tell you, I kind of butchered it a little bit, but it's about a bear and telling the bear, ask the bear it's okay.
You see me in the forest fighting grizzly bear, help the bear.
Thank you.
He was ready. He's like, oh my god.
Thank you.
Your face right now, like, how did he know
That's some
that?
boss ass shit.
I thought you were talking about when Miguel
Oh, the stage.
Yeah, and he like fell on the
and that
woman.
poor lady.
Yeah.
It was such a
You
great
guys
leg
know
drop.
You know what I just learned?
What happened?
I just learned Miguel and Frank Ocean were best friends. I never knew that.
Oh,
See
really?
that coming?
I thought you were gonna say that Miguel was half Mexican.
I saw it coming.
Because that's true.
No, I saw it coming.
He's Mexican.
No, I saw it coming.
I thought he was Portuguese.
No, Mexican. He's half Mexican.
Look at Miguel.
I think
smile.
he's Latin.
Look at the Rico.
He sang in Coco, dude.
I can see that. No.
He did.
He was in Coco.
But I did not know.
Yeah. Wait, he was doing a what? A Coco?
Coco, the movie. He picks
Oh, I
up
thought you said
Coco.
Coco. I was
He
like,
was
why are
in
we talking about
Coco.
that right now?
He had a song. No. It's a sweet moment.
Come on, guys. Keep it PG.
He sang like "Remember Me."
was Miguel.
He sang like a version of it. He sang in Coco. Yo, that movie got me good. That movie got me the feels.
That movie was amazing, and then the animation. Oh, come on! And I was so happy when it came out because I love teaching my kids. When I was a teacher, holidays, and so I'm a millennial teacher, and I used Coco in my class, and we had Pan de Azúcar in class, and it was great.
What does that mean in English?
Sugar bread.
Okay.
Bread of sugar.
Yeah,
I got you.
Jamaican guys.
That's
That's why
Got this.
I wanted to be a part of
But
it.
yeah, man, that's fire. Oh yeah, but I also just learned that Frank Ocean and fucking Miguel were best friends, and then they went their separate ways after Frank.
Oh, Miguel wasn't about
No.
that?
Wow.
Wow.
And I was heartbroken.
Yo, how has nobody talked about that?
Maybe it's a contract thing. Maybe it's a contract thing.
Right.
Maybe they're just like,
And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And apparently they go back, childhood friends,
Like what?
Yeah.
like off the school bus type shit.
Is Miguel
And
from New Orleans?
Oh, that's amazing.
no, I thought he was
No, my friend grew up in New Orleans.
I mean,
He moved to LA from Katrina.
right.
Yeah.
that-
So,
He was
I guess
Lonnie-
from LA.
He was Lonnie,
Yeah.
bro. He moved there in 09,
Yeah.
so it's been 10 years.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, since we're in LA, tell me about the LA market compared to the DMV market. Why you enjoy this right here now?
I mean,
That's messy.
in which regard, man? I mean,
it's up to you. You pick.
I wanna ask a
We
question.
can talk about business. I
Yeah.
already know about law.
You know,
you can touch on
yeah.
that if you
Let's
want to.
do
listen.
business
Tell me what, like
Listen.
culture-wise, I know we have like the forest, the grass. You get to come
Yeah.
outside. LA has that too, but it's different. So you get to touch on this.
I mean,
where he grew up, the grass. So like,
Grass.
He's an outdoorsman.
I'm a man of the woods.
Yeah, he's a man of the woods.
Okay.
Like Justin
That was-
Timberlake's
I don't
shitty
care.
No, I
album.
said grass. I didn't say ass. Did
I
you say
heard
ass
rats.
or rats?
I heard
no,
rats.
No, we're not talking about rats.
So I was
This
like,
is
we're talking
DC, but we're not
city,
talking about rats.
or what are we saying?
Yeah, no, we're talking about him.
Okay, got it. I'm with it. I'm
No,
following.
we're just,
Okay, we're
we're bringing
good.
in. We're good.
Okay,
All right,
good.
great.
Good,
Let's
good.
hear
All
it.
right, ready.
No, I mean honestly, like the thing that you always hear about is people leaving DC to move to New York and to move to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say people, the community you're
I
talking
think-
about is like law or in general.
No, I think creatives. I think
Okay,
creatives.
okay.
I'm talking about like a creative point of view. I mean, I think.
You count as a creative too because you are in a band. So
Well, but like we're all creatives here. We're
Yeah.
doing it. But like I feel
Yeah.
like the movie up in here is people saying that in DC you can get your start, but like if you want to actually like find your way and become a full-time successful entertainer, you have to go to New York. If you want to do sort of theater or literature, you got to go to or music maybe. In LA, it's like movie acting.
Yeah.
Or like TV, or like certain kinds of music as well, right? But I don't know. I feel like the way that things, and again, I've only been here 6.5 years, but in that time, I've seen a real boom and growth of a creative community here. It still happens that people feel like they have to go to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, the old story about Kanye felt he had to leave Chicago to make it as a producer. He had to go to New York, right? Like you can claim your city, but there's only a few places that have enough to sustain, to support a creative class and to do it. But we're seeing this changing. I mean,
There's only a few that have enough to support and sustain creative culture. That's what he had said.
no, but but I will say though, like we're seeing it get better here. We're seeing people who are based here.
Stop talking.
I'm like,
No, keep going. She's done.
it just costs so much money to live in DC and to be a full-time creative.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of people moving to Baltimore. I see people moving to Philadelphia. If you're in a band, if you're a musician, a visual artist, but like something's got to change in this city. Like whether it's supported by government measures to provide more affordable housing, if you're an artist who can qualify for it, or if it's like local government. I know the mayor's office does big grants for
We
artists to
talked
keep
about
them
that
here.
last time.
Yeah, but something's got to change. Like DC can't continue to be a city for consultants and lobbyists and lawyers. Truly, it can't be a city just for people who make six. You know, like I'm saying, like it's not.
Yeah.
It should be a city that continues to provide and support people, and that foments and supports a creative class. And
Can
that's
I ask you?
yeah.
Yeah, no, go. Yeah.
In terms of speaking about business, here we like to discuss like our moments, like our trials and tribulations in order of conducting business and executing the business, and you know, if you got fucked over or if it did go well, or if you did get fucked over this one time, who did you work with the next time to make sure it didn't happen again, type thing. So between, and I'm definitely absolutely no question being messy, between LA and DC/DMV area, business wise, who conducts better business?
That's a hard thing to say because it's a person-to-person thing. But it's a person-to-person thing. But I will say that the work ethic we have on the East Coast is pretty top-notch. I'm not saying people in California don't have it.
But a lot of, in LA, I've heard that it's a lot of bro stuff. Like a lot of like, yeah, we'll link and build, and then no callback, no follow-up or anything.
Well, I think it depends. Like if someone sees an opportunity to make a lot of money, they're gonna fucking call you back, right? It just depends on how like you communicate with them and what the trust in the relationship is.
Okay.
I find that generally speaking here, like if someone is like, I'm gonna email you on Monday, I get that email on Monday.
Yeah.
But that's just like a cultural thing. Like you can't really, I don't think you can generalize necessarily like one being better. They just have different styles.
Yeah.
I know that I understand East Coast style.
So
East Coast working style. So that makes sense for me. Like I know what to expect.
you learning the habit makes it easier for you. So like you
Yeah.
don't get aggravated at what things that someone who's green who hasn't dealt with that LA culture would.
Yeah, I mean, and let me put it this way. A lot of people people who moved out of California tell me things like, yeah, everyone's like, yeah, we'll meet up and we'll like, do the thing. And it happens here in the East Coast too. You see people like, oh my God, good to see you. Like, let's link up for sure.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to business shit, when it comes to like trying to make money and trying to like do something, people here will follow up. People here are like, I'm gonna call you on this day, this time, let's get coffee, let's do it. And you're like, draft to action, and you're like, this is great, maybe we can do it, or hey, this is not gonna work, but you just like come to a resolution quickly, which I think is great. That being said, one of the most unprofessional organizations I've ever worked with was based in New York, and they have very high reputation, they're very well known, and they were a terrible partner executing a project that like almost went to hell, but didn't, because luckily like my team and people I worked with were able to pick up the slack, but like that shit was walking on a tightrope. So you never know, right? It's just like whoever you're dealing with, you have
I'm
to use
only
your
smiling
instincts.
because New York jokes make me giggle. And
Dead
there's
ass.
You know what I'm saying? That ass. That's it. And I just, I feel like there's so many New York jokes.
Just a regular schmegular degular, you know. Yeah.
We need more beverages.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
I think this is
Put my
everything
Timberlands
for
on and just
snacks.
walk out.
I definitely
Yeah.
enjoyed this episode. Learned a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we can have you back on the show later. You know, talk about contracts, artists, things people should watch out for in terms of how they're built out,
Yeah.
and like jargon that people should be aware of, even if they're not a part of the law industry.
Yeah, and actually, if I can leave just one piece of advice, if anyone is trying to start a career in music, specifically just a book that I found really useful, it's Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald Passman, as in Pass Man. Look at that book. It's been a wonderful resource for me and for a lot of friends who are starving artists or beginning their careers, just to even understand the terms of a contract. If you don't have access to a lawyer, reach out to the local Washington Lawyers for the Arts or DC Lawyers for the Arts. I forget the name specifically here. But if you can't even do that, then just get that book, get the Passman book, read up, learn what 360 contract deal, learn what a publishing deal is, learn what points on the contract means, learn what royalties, how things are paid. That's really good for musicians, for artists and actors and content creators. Just Google up a little wiki on copyright law, learn how to file for a trademark and what that process is. You don't actually have to be a lawyer to file for a trademark registration with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. You do not have to be an attorney.
I'd like to file for a trademark.
I'm just saying, it's super easy.
Currently popping, so I should take care of that.
It's really,
Somewhat.
it's not that expensive. You can do it with intent to use once you've started to say that you're going to use your mark in the stream of commerce or in doing business. but you do not have to be a lawyer to file for a trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Yeah.
So people should know that. They have really good videos. Just look into that.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Wait, I have a real quick before we all go home.
See, I like this. I like this.
I
Now,
do.
now we just gonna keep that extra
So
stuff.
I'm aware that you work with Tim McGraw.
Briefly, yeah, for Red Light. He was one of our clients.
What I would
He
like
was
to
one of
know-
our clients. I did not meet the
Have you worked with any well-known, famous Spanish-speaking artists at all?
We
Latino?
worked with Rodrigo Gabriela as well, the guitar duo from Mexico.
Okay.
They were one of the artist duos that we had on the roster at Red Light at the time, and they were tight. They were just like phenomenal guitarists. Like,
yeah.
They have a cover of "Stairway to Heaven," and then they have one of a Metallica song on their first record, and they just do it with like classic guitars, and it's phenomenal. Yeah.
That was my cultural moment for the day for any of my students who might watch this because my kids do watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, look it up.
All right. So I have another question too.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me about season 17 of The Amazing Race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about that before you leave. I gotta
When
hear
I
about the
was
production, how that all went
when
down.
I was in law school down in Atlanta,
Yeah.
you know, like I was saying earlier, just like trying to find the thing that gets you where you want to be at some place. And I met at a bar. I met a TV director, and we got talking. And he was like, "Yo, man, like I'm looking for people to come be production assistants. I'm working on this TV show. Can't tell you what it is, but like come through. Pay is this much per day. It's like 14 hours. Like it's gonna suck, but this is your way." Again, Atlanta had just started having all that TV.
Yeah.
2009, 2010.
Yeah, so this was
Yeah.
2010, 2010 or 2011,
Yeah.
but around then. And I worked with this director on several different productions, but the one that was most memorable, I was the production assistant on the finale of season 17 of The Amazing Race, filmed in Atlanta. If you guys look it up, you can see it. It takes place like coming into Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. But one of the coolest, weirdest things that I ever got to do professionally, they assigned me to be the PA for the director of photography, who's the principal photographer, the principal camera guy for the show. And he's like, all right. He sits on one of the luggage carts, you know, like you have at airports to push your shit. And he sits on there with his camera, and he's using it as a dolly, right? Basically, we're doing a makeshift sort of like jerry-rigged dolly. Yeah, kind of like these guys in the gear.
What's the term for that, guys? What's the term for that?
It's a dolly, right? It's a dolly. Right.
Dolly, I just got
So,
asked.
so we're doing it, and he's like, all right, when I give you the signal, you're gonna push me as hard as you fucking can, following the first couple, because you know it's a couple show, right?
Yeah.
So we're just waiting, and at one point we see these two motherfuckers run out, and he's like, go, 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 and I'm pushing him, you know, like the sleds in the NFL training, you're like, you know about it, and you're like, boom, boom, like pushing, and I'm going as fast as I can, and this dude is like grabbing the shot. And then we did a bunch of shots for the season finale of The Amazing Race. It was awesome. Filmed the whole episode.
Yeah.
I think you can still find it on
Did any of
Hulu.
your shots make it?
Yeah, I mean, he was director of photography, so like a lot of the main shots were his.
All right, well, good job.
But
Good
yeah,
job, man. All right.
thank you
Good job.
guys. Yeah. You never know how you're gonna pay your bills,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, or when you're gonna meet 50 Cent in the elevator.
And I forgot. Yeah, so they made me.
Yeah.
It was raining, so they asked me to get a bunch of towels because they were like, "We need towels for the camera." We're in this hotel. I think it was the St. Regis in Atlanta because it was in Bucket. It was a nice hotel. And because I speak Spanish, the guy was like, "Yo, go talk to all the housekeeping, like charm them, like talk to them in Spanish, be like, hola, buenos dias, buenos." So I go and I'm just like getting towels from each floor. Like they're doing housekeeping. I'm like, "Can I get like 3 towels?" So I got a stack of towels. And I walk into the elevator going down from like the 8th floor or whatever to the lobby. And I'm in the elevator holding all these towels, and 50 Cent just walks in. And I'm like, oh shit, that's 50 Cent. And I'm just like, hey man. And he's like, hey. And I'm just like, yeah, I got enough. Like I'm just holding all these towels. I'm having a family moment, but I can't really, I'm just like, yeah, this is.
Hey,
this
we're
is
here
my-
now.
This is
We're
my
here.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. You never know. Life takes weird turns, man.
Well, I just learned, you know, when you're a bad bitch, you can get a towel from any floor. That's
You
all.
can get a towel from the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
You do
That's
what
okay.
you want when you pop.
Yeah, you know, you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
It's,
You know, obviously.
So
you're
the moral of
supposed
the
to
story
visit
is,
it.
children, learn a second language, like I told you all to do so.
And always say, por favor y gracias. Yeah.
Please and thank you because
All right, there's been another episode of Snacks. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
That was great.
That
Was
was
this
good.
bag of chips out here the whole time?
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
don't-
even notice it was there. I was just like, I was in there. Cut the music.
man.
I was like, ah, we in here now, baby.
We-
No, that was beautifully educational.
Thank you guys for.
That was
Thank
great.
you so much.